pay off your debts first, way before you start investing. Let me repeat everything that I said. You have cash flow, you are not in debt, you have savings. If you have all of those, then by all means proceed to the next step. Hey guys, so by the time I'm making this video, we are still in the midst of one of the greatest pandemics this generation has ever seen. But above and beyond that, we are still in a lockdown. And as a result of that, we are also still in a recession. I want to talk about, should you still invest in the midst of this pandemic and this recession? If you are investing, what should be your approach right here, right now? That being said, also, before I begin, please do note that whatever I say right here is me sharing my own experience and my own conviction. Please do remember, what works for me will not work for you. But what I do hope is that you get snippets, you get ideologies from this that you can use for your own trading and investing. I want to go back to the end of December 2019, that at that time, I'm sure majority of you also have been crushing it in your business, that you have been doing well, or if you're employed, I'm sure majority of you have experienced your company go through a cycle of growth. And when companies are growing, when the economy is massively moving up, everyone was looking into 2020 to be another year of growth, that if 2019 was this, 2020 would have been a year higher. Now, that being said, I had my own plans, I had my own goals, I had my own targets that I also wanted to have on a personal, business, and investing level. And at the start of the year, 2020, January, February, things were going great. And lo and behold, March came in. It felt like a rug was pulled underneath me. And all of the things that I planned out for 2020, I had the feeling that it looks like it's not gonna happen. And fast forward to where we are right now. This video is brought to you by First Metro Asset Management, transforming Filipinos from savers to investors. I'm constantly innovating, shifting, and also improving in the way I deploy my capital. In the first few weeks after the first lockdown that we had, I had to check from an investment point of view, what's gonna happen? How will this affect my stocks? How will this affect my bonds? How will this affect my other investments? And I checked the level of cash that I had. I also checked the cash flow that was coming in or out, because I realized this: if cash flow stops to come in, then I needed to be defensive. I needed to store as much cash as I can so that I get protected. A few weeks after that, I saw that we're still in a pandemic. There's still no cure. We're still on a lockdown, but people are shifting, people are innovating, and people are pivoting. There's still a lot of fear. There's still a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of the assets are down. I saw that as an opportunity for me to invest more. I saw that as an opportunity for me to also go in the offensive. Fast forward to today, I'm still in that mindset. I really believe that because there's still a lot of uncertainty, in the midst of uncertainty, there's a lot of opportunities. Maximum fear, maximum upside. The best time to invest is when everyone does not want to invest, because there will be much more opportunities. And even if you look at it from a stock market level, in 2018, the biggest concern of a lot of people is that the market was too high, the market was too expensive, it might crash even further. Guess what? We just finished a crash last year. And if we finished a crash last year, you can check it out and you can study it all throughout history. Crashes happen. It's not a question whether if it will rebound, it's a question of when. Let me give you an example for the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. We've seen it time and time again. 90s, 1997 Asian financial crisis, crash, rebounded. 2008 global financial crisis, crash. We saw the Philippine Stock Exchange at that time, 3007 dropped to 1,800. But right after that, we saw it start to push massively higher to even surpass the previous high of 3,700. Then we saw it hit 7,400, 8,000, all the way up to 9,000. And if that happened in the past, it will happen again. Please always remember this. We cannot time when the lowest portion will be, but what we can do, and we cannot control how the economy will be over the next few years. We cannot control inflation. We cannot control how interest rates will be. We cannot control how the GDP will be. Let's stop focusing on things that we cannot control. But what we can control right now is study what investments fit us. Then as we start studying it, we start deploying more capital on what we understand. One of the investments that I've truly liked is investing in equities. I've been looking for opportunities where I can also invest and add more. How do you invest in the midst of this pandemic? Make sure that your cash flow is still intact. If your cash flow is still intact, meaning your salary is coming in, your commission is coming in, your business is still doing well, that it may be different from what it was from 2019, but as long as you're not in the red, as long as money's coming in, and then you also get to pay salary, and then your salary is also not interrupted as a business person. If you are a freelance person, projects are still coming in, or if you are an OFW, you still have your job, or if you are a relative of an overseas Filipino and then remittances are still there, that already places you in a very good position to invest. Number two, if you're not in debt, by all means, you are in a better position also to invest. If you are in debt, please remember this. Pandemic, no pandemic, recession, no recession. Please pay off your debts first, way before you start investing. This is time and tested techniques that it's better for you to pay off your debt first before you invest. Please remember this. You don't know how much your investments will make 18 months from now, but for sure, every month leading up to that 18 months, you are paying massive amounts of interest off your credit card bills. So pay off your debts first. Number three, as long as your savings are there, you have a buffer that if someone gets sick, an emergency happens, as long as you have cash for that, that places also you in a great position to invest. Let me repeat everything that I said. You have cash flow, you are not in debt, you have savings. If you have all of those, then by all means proceed to the next step. Check if you have an amount of money that you do not plan to touch for the long term. Money that's intended for you to grow, money that's intended to be part of your financial freedom fund. Please remember, every time you earn money, there's a portion of that goes to your expenses, but there always should be a portion of that should be allotted to be planted in the ground as an investment. If you have that amount of money in the midst of the pandemic, by all means, invest. I'm not saying invest blindly. I'm saying invest in your circle of competence. I'm saying invest in what you know. So if it's mutual funds, double down on that mutual funds. Top up, put as much as you can, especially if it's an index fund. You do know that it will always go back higher than where it was before. If it's the stock market and you are into dividends, by all means, buy that dividend stocks, buy that large cap company that you have full conviction with ever since. If it's real estate, continue buying that property. If you are someone who's making money off rentals and then you know it very well, that even though there's a lot of vacancies right now, but you know the market very well and you can still find ways on how you can make money from property investing right now, then by all means, the ROI will always be on what skills that you have. I've been saying this over and over. You always invest in something that's very close to where your competencies lie already. So there, if you satisfy all of those things that I've mentioned, by all means, invest in this pandemic. By all means, when there's a lot of fear, you go in. Why? Because here's what I do know. When there's fear, when there's uncertainty, everyone does not want to buy. Meaning, you get to buy things cheaper, regardless if that's stocks, crypto, property, or entering a franchise that you've been waiting to actually get. They're cheaper. When things get better, when the fear is gone, when the uncertainty is gone, then there's no reason for people to give those assets at a discount. But because you took the time to study, because you took the time to come in when everyone else did not want to invest, that's your arbitrage. That's your upside. That's how you make money and that's how you earn. Please always remember this. When it comes to investing, the earning is not about you just selling higher. The earning is you positioning properly and low based on what you studied. Even in the midst of this pandemic, even in the midst of this recession, I have been investing. In the midst of this recession, I've been doubling down. Looking at how I've done things over the past few months, I think I've allotted more for my investments over the past 12 months. Especially, because we're not going out there. There's nowhere to go. And for me, it's just massively better to just invest. Since we're not going anywhere, we're just here. Might as well take the time to learn and build that skill that will allow you to generate also more money. In the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of the recession, I'm at the offensive. I'm investing. And please remember this, you're most likely in your mid-20s or 40s. Don't waste the prime earning years of your life not putting money in the ground. Please don't let this pandemic go to waste. Maximize this as an opportunity for you to be able to position to propel you later on. Don't just think about earning for the short term. Always think about where would you be 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years from now. And the reason why I say that is this. Whatever I invested during the 2008 crash, a lot of those I've reaped the benefits of in 2013. Some of those I've reaped the benefits of 2015, 2017. The reason why I'm saying that in the midst of this recession, in the midst of this pandemic, it's still a good idea to invest because I've seen it. It's not something that I'm saying because I read it off a book. Investing for the long term, if done properly, studied well, and you manage your risk well, works. Better have your money invested than buying stuff that you don't need, because at a certain point in time, that stuff that you don't need, maybe 5, 7, 10 years from now, won't have any value. But the investment that you place your money into, there's a possibility that there will be volatility. There's a possibility that it could be lower, but there's also a possibility that it could be higher. And I would bank my money on that because it gives me the possibility to earn more than just buying stuff that won't give me any value or return later on. I hope that it makes sense, because the goal of this channel is just really, I want to see you prosper. I want to see more and more Filipinos take advantage of this time to invest, because we want to see more and more Filipinos move from merely just being savers to also investors. Because when more and more people start to invest, I really believe this country will be a better place. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.
When was the last time you did something for the first time? You remember that feeling of hesitation? Maybe you're not ready. Perhaps you're not good enough. You doubt yourself. It's a long road ahead. And right now you think, safe is a good place to be. You take a step back, but in doing so, you see the whole picture. You remember the stakes you were brave enough to take. So you shout at the unknown no longer, because you are your own master. You rise up, because you know you're not alone. Because you stand on the shoulders of the ones before you. And through them you realize you are more afraid of not trying than failing. They hold your hand, lead you to the peak of your potential. And once on top, you take the leap and do it. The first time you flew and tasted freedom. The first time you went the extra mile and never looked back. The first time you understood that something so small could change the course of your future. The first time you put yourself first. At First Metro Asset, we value you and your achievements. As we navigate through this better normal together, we are here to help you cherish your firsts and make those moments last.